Did you check her for ticks?
As soon as she wakes up.
You can check her while she's asleep.
Sit down!
Do you even know how to cook?
Believe it or not, I am capable of making breakfast.
Sorry, it's not like we see you do much around here.
How about thanks for cooking, Dad?
Lance Barber faced significant pressure when taking on the role of George Cooper Sr. in Young Sheldon, a prequel to the massively popular The Big Bang Theory. Given George Sr.'s unfavorable portrayal in The Big Bang Theory as an alcoholic and unfaithful father, Barber had the challenge of redefining the character for a family-friendly show while meeting fan expectations. Barber succeeded in making George Sr. a more lovable and complex character, helping Young Sheldon evolve into a hit with its unique tone. In an interview, Barber admitted to the initial challenge of honoring the Big Bang legacy while creating something fresh, but he embraced the fun challenge of playing a pre-established role. Though George Sr.'s fate was confirmed in Young Sheldon's seventh season, Barber's portrayal has cemented him as a vital part of the Big Bang Theory universe. Known for his comedic range, including his role as the terrible dad Bill Ponderosa in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Barber's ability to humanize even flawed characters highlights his exceptional talent. Young Sheldon's Lance Barber had a big worry about playing George Cooper Sr. It has to be intimidating joining the cast of any primetime network television show, because you're guaranteed to be seen by millions at the very least, and if you don't do well, it could mean the end of the show, and steady paychecks. So just imagine what it must feel like to join the cast of a series that's the prequel to one of the most popular sitcoms of all time. The need to impress would be unreal. That's exactly what Young Sheldon star Lance Barber faced when he signed on to play the Cooper family patriarch, George Sr. on the CBS spin-off series of The Big Bang Theory. It was probably pretty terrifying knowing just how high the fandom's expectations were while also trying to establish a new series, but thankfully Barber had nothing to worry about because Young Sheldon became a hit on its own with a pretty different tone from its parent series as it evolved. Although The Big Bang Theory revealed that George Sr. died of a heart attack in 1994 when Sheldon was 14, and the seventh season of Young Sheldon confirmed George's death by killing the character and even showing his funeral, with a fun cameo from Barber in disguise, there is always the chance that Barber could appear in future The Big Bang Theory spin-offs. He could even potentially appear in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, which follows his character's son, George Jr., or Georgie, played by Montana Jordan. Barber might have been nervous about playing the character in the beginning, but now he's a vital part of the Big Bang Theory franchise, turning the awful George Sr. of Sheldon's Big Bang Theory memories into someone a lot more lovable. In an interview with Australia's Channel 9, Barber revealed that it was a bit of a challenge starring on the CBS comedy in part because he felt that had to live up to the legacy of the original series while still making Young Sheldon its own thing. Initially, I had the challenges of pleasing the Big Bang audience, he said, though he did say that he was proud to become a part of the show's overall legacy. Hardcore fans will remember that in addition to playing George Sr. on Young Sheldon, Barber also played Leonard's high school nemesis, Jimmy Speckerman, in a Season 5 episode of The Big Bang Theory. George Sr. was a pretty different character in Sheldon's, Jim Parsons, memories on The Big Bang Theory, noted as being an alcoholic and even cheating on his wife. This was mostly retconned for Young Sheldon for a few reasons, including the fact that there's a framing narrative that has Sheldon writing his history and he would potentially gloss over the darker parts, and that the series is more family-oriented and wouldn't quite work with the George Sr. of Big Bang. When asked about how it felt to play a character that had already existed, to some extent, Barber was optimistic about it, saying, "I guess in some ways, there's a lack of freedom, but it's a fun challenge to figure out." George Sr. was softened significantly for Young Sheldon, with his cheating on his wife explained away with a moment where Sheldon, Ian Armitage, sees his mother dressed in a costume as a German woman and mistakes her for a stranger, and some of the more unsavory aspects were simply retconned. To be fair, series creator Chuck Lorre and the writers weren't thinking about Young Sheldon when they wrote those early The Big Bang Theory episodes, so inconsistencies are to be expected. Even if George Sr. had been as awful in Young Sheldon as originally written, he would still be far from the worst dad that Barber had ever played. While it's a very different kind of comedy than The Big Bang Theory or Young Sheldon, Barber also stars as one of the best side characters on the FX series It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Bill Ponderosa. Bill isn't just a womanizer who cheated on his wife, he also abuses drugs and alcohol in wild excess and eventually buys drugs from his own preteen son. He's not just a bad dad, he's a truly horrible human being, and it's a joy to see him as both George Sr. and Pondy because it shows just how much range he has even within the confines of playing a sitcom father. Give this man his Emmy already.